What's going on, guys? Rock Lee AC here, bringing you guys a first ever exclusive deck profile from other people aside from myself. This is David Meckler. He's no stranger to the competitive scene. Looks very familiar. Very nice guy. He is going to share with you guys a set 4 build, kinda, Black Wheelo, and his take on it and his thoughts on his cards and stuff. So, David, welcome, and take it away.
Alright, so chose to go with the new Black Mastery. It's the only set 4 card in the whole deck. I chose this for obvious reasons. It has the destroy effect that works well with Wheelo. It'll help with anger, getting stages back, and for the board control. Right. Overall, I feel compared to the 2 Black Masteries, this just fits Wheelo a lot better.
Makes sense, makes sense. A lot of destroying and board control effects. Cool. I think a lot of people know about the Wheelos. I don't know if you want to describe Wheelo, but you could just quickly go ahead.
Yep, so his level 1 isn't anything too crazy. It's just a, he only has a POR of 1. He's only in A bracket the whole way. His power is destroy the top card of your life deck in order to destroy the top 2 of your opponent's life deck, and then set your anger to 3. The nice part with this is that setting your anger to 3, there's a lot of black anger cards that give you 2 angers. So unless you're the old Blue Mastery, you are going to level off just his power and then a 2 anger card right after.
Super quick.
Yep.
Very nice.
Next we have his level 2, which jumps all the way to a 4 POR. You're still only going to be pretty much an A bracket except for B at 10. This will make all your attacks plus 2 life cards of damage, and whenever you stop an attack, or whenever you stop one of your opponent's attacks, they destroy the top card of their life deck. So a lot of people don't want them Wheelo to stay on this level because the plus 2 life starts to add up, especially in black.
Makes sense, yep.
But in this build, it's more of a turbo anger. But then you move on to 3, and it's usually by this point that people start to realize that you're an anger build.
Right.
Wheel 3 gets kind of crazy. It's a instant effect used after you've performed a successful attack, meaning as before you even take damage, you will activate this ability, and to destroy the top 2 cards. It ends up being the top 3 because of his constant ability to increase all of the destroying effects by 1. So they'll destroy the top 3, and you'll rejuvenate 2, and then they'll take the damage from the attack.
Yep.
And then his level 4, like in our game that me and AC just had, can combo off pretty crazy, especially with the Mastery. It's whenever one of your effects destroys cards from the top of your opponent's life deck, increase that amount by 2 and rejuvenate 2. So what happened with us was...
explain what happened there. That was a pretty sick combination.
So I've
never seen that trigger before.
So I had Black Chomp active, and that increases it all by 1 on top of it, so it was all increased by 3. I chose to use the Mastery to destroy my top card, which caused him to destroy his top 2, or no, sorry, top 4.
Top 4.
My first card that because I destroyed mine first, it ended up being a Wheelo's Revival. So Wheelo's Revival ended up doing 6 because of Chomp and because of Dr. Wheelo 4, which made me rejuvenate 2. And then we proceeded on to have him destroy the top 4, and then me rejuve another 2. So
that was like literally a god turn right there of just Wheelo Revival and chomping me off. So
yep,
that was awesome.
A lot of people don't expect of all MPs to be turbo angering. Wheelo is one of them.
Yeah, because you see a lot of Wheelos out there. They're usually like blue, and they like to sit on level 1 or 2.
They'll dominance up to 2.
Your build really throws people off by jumping to level 3.
I'll drop down, I'll combo it with Wheelo's History, and I'll go from 1 up to 2 real quick,
right.
And then I'll go right back down to 1, and then like I mentioned before, if you use this power to set you to 3, you can usually pop right back up to 2 pretty quickly.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So you're really not going that much of a setback if you use Wheelo's History from 2 to 1.
Cool.
But yeah, so
sounds
that's
good.
It with Wheelos.
Thanks for showing the interaction between the Mastery and Wheelo. Let's go with the deck profile then.
All right.
All right, cool.
So we'll start off with events. Obviously, staple, in the only, I think, guaranteed staple in any deck ever. So Times Warriors Tool. That one kind of doesn't need any explanation.
Oh yeah.
Run
definitely.
2 scout maneuvers. It was 3. I'm a pretty big fan of running 3 scouts just to draw it early, get an early call on a card that is crucial to your opponent's, the way your opponent's deck works. But I cut it. I felt it, with it being such an anger build that I could get by with just 2.
Right. And then set 4 literally just released, so who has a week to prepare to, memorize all those new names. So good call on that one for the first couple of weeks.
Again, another card I love to run 3 of, but I just had to find something to cut somehow, and it ended up being Stare Down. I figured with Wheelo's name cards shutting down events and whatnot, I could get by with just 2 of these.
Okay, cool.
Then on to Black Command.
Oh yeah.
This card I feel is crucial to any black anger deck.
Definitely.
Since it still allows you to discard out of combat to gain the anger and shuffle it. I probably gained, what? Like,
6, 7, 8 anger at least.
Well, I probably used the card
Used
like
it
6
twice.
times.
Yeah.
So in one combat I had 2, so that's
Right.
12 anger right there.
Yeah.
I feel this, this card has to be in pretty much every anger build.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
you can just passively level up, which I think I did, 2 or 3 times?
Yep.
So, then lastly for the events, of course, is Wheelo's History. This card is what I was telling you about with level 1. You jump up to level 2, use it, which normally it only destroys the top 3 of your opponent's life. It'll destroy the top 5 if you go down a level, but you can usually pop up level 2 that going down is more than worth it, especially if you're being stage locked. You can go down, get 5 stages, maybe absorb an attack, and then if you hadn't used Wheelo's power, Wheelo's level 1 power that turn, use it, and then possibly go right back up to 2 all in one combat.
Right. A lot of busted combos you could do.
Yep.
Cool.
Alright, on to setups. First is Villainous Visage. This card I feel is almost a staple. I feel some people think that now in the set 4 you don't need to run it. I feel that's kind of true, but I still would run it just for the threat factor, because sometimes if they can't deal with it, this card alone will prevent your opponent, or especially an aggro opponent, from attacking you until they have an answer.
Right. And a lot of people are worried about that lookout drill, but being the Black Perceptive Mastery, you're able to really get rid of board control, and you just don't have to worry about it.
Especially in this deck, you can trigger their lookout drill with numerous abilities.
Of
that
course,
way Visage will be able to go through.
Yep.
Cool. Next is 3 searching techniques.
All 3.
Almost just like the same reason of Scout Maneuver. I run 3 just because you can dismantle their deck. If you can draw into enough of these and the Scout Maneuvers, especially Namekian, the thing I go for is all their blocks of a certain type, because I feel like their blocks is a huge part of how they level so fast.
Sure.
Obviously they gain stuff through right throw and other things, but if you can dismantle their blocks, then they can't be so passive. They're going to have to be aggressive with their anger.
Yeah, also too, with a bigger card pool now, you have so many people teching in 2 cards instead of 3, so no longer people are playing play sets, unless they're really necessary. So you might, want to save that card to make sure that you're able to knock down, 2 ofs and 1 ofs.
If you have a searching technique and a scout maneuver, you can always searching technique to get a good call for your scout maneuver.
Exactly.
Then lastly, the last setup, which is arguably one of the best named cards.
Definitely.
I wouldn't say it is the best named card, but it's up there.
For what it does.
I mean, the fact that just by taking damage from your opponent, you can do, as long as all 3 trigger, that's at least 9 damage. And then if you can combo it just right with Wheelo level 4 or a Chomp or something, you can end up doing a lot more damage. And this card is why Wheelo is almost always in the game.
Sure.
You know, it's rare that you can like just roll over a Wheelo deck because of this card.
Right. Very good name card.
All right, on to energies. A lot of people run 2 of this. I don't run many energies in this deck, but I run 3 of for the fact that it'll just help me constantly,
Banish and,
nick away. Yeah,
nick away
banish
damage.
life, but more so just the fact that you nick away at passive decks.
Sure.
Because they're
Punish
going
them
to
for
have to
passing.
go in, and this deck has a pretty good amount of endurance, so they're going to have to do some actual critical damage to get it off.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a 3 of. Normally, because it costs 3 stages, it would be a 2 of, but this next card is the only other energy attack I have in the deck, and of course, Black Energy Web. Yep,
That's definitely.
It's this card alone is almost like a Times Warriors tool in the fact that
sure.
As far as energies, you get that off, and then you don't have to worry about energies. The rest of the
Yep.
turn. Especially like an aggro energy deck, this can shut off their whole combat.
Sure.
It's pretty detrimental.
It's always been a big card since set 1. So.
Then on to the energy blocks. 3 black swipe. This is in here, especially, it's one of the arguably the best black block.
sure.
Now that corruption is only really good with the old mastery.
Right.
It's in there. A big reason is the new red deck, the new red mastery needing to have certain cards on top or bottom with relaxation, Namekian decks, and the fact that it has the 2 endurance. If corruption worked with this deck, I'd run corruption over it, but since it doesn't work with the mastery, I run the swipe instead.
Yeah, you definitely destroyed a lot of my discard pile setting up for the mastery, and then that's something that I totally overlooked. You could just set up for cards that are non-combats, just something that I can't even use. So that's really awesome that you're able to do that.
Yeah, you can't just against the new red mastery. You have to be fully aware of where everything is in their discard pile, and you got to have things like swipe or things that can pick out cards to banish, and you could set the tempo for the game against your opponent if they can't get the cards they need, like Shattering Leap or Double Strike.
Yep.
Then there's the second and last energy block. It's in there because it's an anger build, and 3 endurance. It's a lot of endurance.
You cannot argue with that.
Yeah. So
why not?
So this I would run over swipe purely because it fits the deck better.
Sure.
But since I couldn't run corruption, I just ran both swipe and this. And then lastly, on to physicals.
All right.
So, probably arguably the best physical in the game. Just like Energy Web, you can completely shut off an aggro physical build just by, if they enter in on you.
So many physical builds.
Yeah, if they got no blocks.
Yep.
Take 1 hit if they enter in on you, or even maybe block it, and then lead with defensive burst and shut off their turn. And now they're going to be able to do nothing, and then it's going to be onto your turn, power up, and just kind of get set for the next go around.
Definitely. One of the main cards that forces you to increase your physical block count, just because that could just shut down your whole physical aggro build.
Yep. Black Chomp. This card is kind of on the chopping block. I'm not sure what I'd replace it with yet, but I feel like it doesn't have to be in here. It's nice because it increases everything by 1, especially the mastery, doing a 1 for 2, or being on level 1 Wheelo and doing a 1 for 3, or even just increasing Wheelo's revival. But it has no endurance, it's a banish after use, it only does 3 stages, and it might not even do anything for you that turn, especially if you're on Wheelo level 2. It's only going to do something for your mastery, possibly.
Right, yeah.
So this one's kind of...
very situational. And
yeah, so this one is... I'm definitely considering some other cards, but for now, it's had some nice combo potential.
It's a shame. I like the artwork on it. It'd be cool for a nice promo.
Yeah.
And it just really fits the theme of it, but it just, in theory, it just hasn't really done too much.
Yep. All All right, and Black Lunge, you can't really argue with a physical for life.
Yep.
A lot of people might argue the fact that Wheelo is always weak, and so the attack table is always going to do pretty much nothing. But I love it because it's got the 1 endurance. It's still going to do possibly 5 life, but at least 4 life, a physical 4 life, and raising my anger 1. So, I mean, is it the best physical ever for a Wheelo deck? No, but considering you're going all out anger, it's definitely not a bad
fits.
card.
True.
And then Dismissal. Awesome card for managing your opponent's anger, raising your anger, still 2 endurance, and gaining some more stages to stop to help against those physical decks. Especially combined with the mastery. If you destroy one of their cards and you gain 4 stages, combined with this giving you 4 stages, and then usually having a pretty good PUR, you can usually mitigate a lot of physical beatdown decks just from all that stuff. Then the next couple cards are going to be the tech against ally decks. So 3 black dash.
Sure.
I mean, you could arguably say just 2. I like 3 for the fact that it gives you the 2 anger. It helps you on the level 1, like I was saying. You can pop up to level 2 instantly. Use a history, go back down to 1. It's got the 1 endurance, and if they are an ally deck, combined with this, and then the next card I'll go on to, Chin Kick.
Yep.
I mean, between all 6 of these cards, you have so much to deal with to allies. I mean, granted, the Black Dash has to hit to go search your life deck for a ally and take control of it.
Sure.
But, I mean, more often than not, you should be able to, if you time it right, if you wait to attack with it, make them block something like a defensive burst, you usually can get this through and get one of their allies.
Yeah. Especially with all the hype around, the blue tag team, so many ally builds, so
if you can go take out one of their allies, or even, the Chin Kick, shut off all the effects, basically isolate it, isolate just you and your opponent's MP, doubling if it hits, doubling your anger. If you're at 3 anger or higher, then you're going to level. Yeah, so
some people play isolation, but I definitely think Black Chin Kick is well worth it.
So, I mean, even if you're against the old Blue Mastery, at 3 anger, you're going to level with this. I mean, it doesn't give you any guaranteed anger because it's got to hit, and you got to have at least 1 anger for it to give you any. But, I mean, some ally decks just get out of hand, and this really helps you deal with that.
Sure.
Alright, and then Black Combo. This is the main answer to Wall Breaker.
Yes.
It actually helped me against his red Turles. He hit me with a Wall Breaker, and I comboed it back onto him.
Stuck on level 2. That is not the best place to go.
And again, combined with this mastery, I throw this card at you. It's a physical, probably only doing 1 stage.
Exactly. You're not going to want to block it. Exactly. There's no point.
Are you going to block that one just so you can protect one of your drills or setups? And stop the ability to switch a attach card.
Sure.
I mean, it's one of those things where you got to waste a block or take these hit effects. And it's an auto 2 anger. So again, along with dash, the 2 anger is jumping up. Usually, when because there's so many 2 anger cards, usually draw 1 early on and then jump right to 2 in 1 combat.
Very
usually don't have to worry about whether or not you draw a card that's going to get you up to 2.
So that's what I love about the Black Mastery. You could run all these hit effects and force your opponent to kind of be thinking about those small minor blocks, destroying those setups and drills.
Alright, and the only non-styled attack, I mean, there's a lot of good non-styleds, but I love this. It's, especially now, same with Swipe. It's awesome because, you're going to help against their anger, you're going to raise your anger, and you're going to be able to pick certain cards to banish. In the Namekian and the new red, those are the 2 big ones. You can control the tempo with a red deck, especially, red Turles, Shattering Leap, double striking,
all the key cards.
Going too crazy. And you got to time it just right. Like in our game, what was it? I knew you had a Shattering Leap. And I had a block, and I was going to wait to use it for it. but I knew that even if I blocked it, it was going to go to the top of your pile, so I was going to have to do something to cover it up with another card.
So I could not trigger the mastery.
That or do Devastating Blow to get it off of there.
Sure, yeah. You will be seeing a lot of red Ruthless decks around, so...
Yeah, definitely.
Dev Blow's not a bad option at all.
Alright, on to the physical blocks. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, as you've already been seeing. It gives you anger. It lets you see your opponent's hand. I've considered Swirl, the energy attack in this, but I like Capture too much, and I didn't want to add too many energies. That and Swirl isn't a guaranteed anger card. Granted, Capture and Energy Web don't give you any anger. I mean, I might change Chomp for it.
Sure.
But we'll see. I don't like to rely on having my stages, especially with so many physical beatdowns and like all the Android 20s out there, you know, hidden power drill. You know, the less energies I have to rely on, the better. So this will just kind of give me some tech to see their hand, see, you know, maybe if all my hit effects, see what order I want to play them in.
Makes perfect sense.
Then
and knowledge is good.
Last card in the deck. Another one, just
no question.
Another card with anger. Endurance 1 gives you 2 anger. You know, even with Wheelo level 1, you can enter combat. Lead with his level 1. Go set your anger to 3, and then if you know your opponent's going to throw a physical, level off of their own attack, and then you know just go from there. So.
Awesome. Cool, cool. Very, very unique kind of deck. Definitely something that I did not expect today. Really, really works well with a Black Perceptive Mastery. I know you really only tested it out against me and you know, maybe just rearranging stuff from yourself, but how would you rate this deck so far? What do you think, you know, it'll do in terms of impact in the meta?
I'd say it's like a tier 2, like,
okay.
You know, you bring it to a local and you definitely have a good shot to take like a first at a local. Bring it to like a major regional, I could see you maybe going with a winning record, but I don't see it necessarily topping.
Okay.
I mean, you could maybe, you know, depending on your matchup, anything possible, you could top with it. But I feel like there's other better MPs and better combos with the new or old Black.
Sure.
Like, I've been wanting to build a Turbo Anger Ginyu deck with the new Mastery. Pretty much this build, but swap out certain things for, you know, Ginyu. Because I feel like Ginyu might even be able to level faster because you can almost bypass this level 2 if you got allies out. You kind of bring the pressure on a little more with Ginyu than you do with Wheelo, even though this Wheel deck is pretty aggressive.
Sure.
You know, I only have, what was it, I think 10 non-combats? No, 7?
Not too much, yeah.
I think it was just the 3 searching techniques, the 3...
Yeah, the setup, revival.
3 revivals and the 1
you got a Visage, yep.
I think that's it. And,
true, yeah.
You know, that's a lot less setups than even some aggro decks have, or a lot less non-combats than even aggro decks.
Right, true.
Like, against your build, you did Restriction twice on me, and it stopped some of my stuff, like a searching technique I had out, and my Mastery, but for the most part, this deck doesn't, you know, I can go around it without, you know, being able to do actions that are attack or pass, because it doesn't rely on being passive to get all of its anger.
Right.
And it can really get away from you. You know, if you don't know how it operates, like I said, you can get to level 3, and that's when they finally realize, oh, you know, dang it, they're, you know, they're already halfway to winning. So
True. Cool. David, we got a couple more minutes left. I just want to get your insight on set 4. Your top 3 decks that you think are going to be really good meta choices, or at least going to make a significant impact, and your top 3 worst, if that even makes sense. Trying to guide people away from not trying out or playing.
Worst decks, I'll start with...
I hate to be negative, but...
I mean, I feel like every deck has the potential, but worst decks? I feel like Gohan is still Gohan. I mean,
still haven't given him a boost.
Special.
Right.
Man, I think the worst decks are harder to figure out.
Sure, that's fine. We'll leave it at Gohan. Sorry, Gohan fans out there. What do you think are your top 3 MPs that you see or deck combinations that you could see?
The Meki and Piccolo, I feel, is a little overpowered. Just they made an amazing combo just even better. I felt him having a weakness to Ginyu was a good thing. It was what kept
really nice balance.
It's what kept him in check. And there was all the ally hate they gave. And which kept Ginyu in check this time. I mean, Ginyu is still a powerhouse. I mean, I was able to top its Hexus without a single set 4 card, and there, a lot of people didn't have, all the ally hate, and that's kind of why I brought Ginyu. I knew there was going to be a lot of people that skimped on the ally hate because they figured, oh, well, no one's going to bring a Ginyu because there's too much ally hate.
Exactly.
And I brought one, and out of, 7 rounds, and then into top 16, I encountered 1 tug of war. And throughout all of it, I didn't really have that hard a time keeping allies out, more so than I did in set 3.
Sure.
So I still think Piccolo and Ginyu. And now I think...
Any androids?
I think 17 is going to be a little crazy, but I feel like he's going to fade just like Nappa. He's a little more, he's got a little more attack to him than Nappa does.
Sure.
He has some better matchups, whereas Nappa kind of just relies on a lot of allies, whereas 17 can kind of use his van to help himself out with allies. So
Sure.
So 17, but really, I think 20 is where it's at right now.
19, 20 hype.
19 and 18 both have potential. None of the androids are bad MPs. They're all solid. Yeah, they're all solid.
In their own worth.
But I think 20 comboing with blue for the tag team to get 19 out, or even black. I tried a black 20. I couldn't get it to work, but I know that there is a good way to probably make a good black 20.
Sure, definitely.
But yeah, Krillin I think is kind of dead for the most part for now.
The bald friend, for now.
I'm sure there's some deck out there that someone's going to build and Krillin's going to still be viable, but I think Ginyu and Piccolo are still going to kind of reign supreme, and I think they kind of always will have a presence.
Awesome. So. Well, we're just about running out of time. Do you have any shout-outs that you want to give?
Just shout out to
Nick Rodriguez. the loser there in the back, but he's a really cool guy. He sells me drugs. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I guess Arvel. Paul Benner. I don't know, a bunch of people out there. You guys know who you are. I've met you all at the McBrides, everyone. But I can't wait to see you guys at Worlds and next regional season.
Awesome, cool. Where do you play at?
Extreme Games in Lyndhurst, Illinois.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks again, David. Thanks for giving us that deck profile, and look forward to seeing you in more future stuff. Hopefully they'll increase the cap to 64 players. Yep. You've pretty much topped like half or more than half the regionals, but
I'm looking for that.
Looking forward to it.
Next year's qualifier at Worlds.
Exactly, got to represent. All right, David, thanks a lot.